Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are so excited that you are choosing to celebrate with Yossi today for the launch of his brand new book, Spiritually Intelligent Leadership. It was published yesterday, and we're so thrilled that you are joining us to celebrate. As you come in, we do want to let you know that we would love to see your smiling faces this afternoon. So if you'd like to use your cameras, we would welcome you to turn those on, show us your smiles. We would request that you stay muted so that we can maintain the audio integrity of today's event. But in a few moments, I am going to ask you to go ahead and unmute your microphone and make some noise as we celebrate with Yossi. So we're going to give folks a few moments to come on in. If you'd like to take a moment and type in the chat where you're calling in from today, we would love to hear from you. And we would love to fuel community on today's call as well. So please feel free throughout the event. That chat will become like a virtual guest book that Yossi will have the chance to look back on later. So you can put your well wishes in the chat. You can put your congratulations. You can put your questions or your comments, and you can connect in community with the others who have joined to celebrate the launch of Spiritually Intelligent Leadership. Yossi, congratulations. How are you?
Great. I'm touched and honored to see all these faces. Some are familiar, some I'm struggling to connect, but it's most of you I know, and I'm just honored and delighted that you're here to share this moment with me.
Yes. And so to that end, Wendy has just put the spotlight on Yossi and the spotlight on me, but I want to ask everyone, if you know how to use Zoom, I would like for you to toggle, if you can, to the gallery view for just a moment so you can see and feel the connection of this community, the connection of the group that has honored to support this important message of spiritually intelligent leadership. Later on in the event, as I maybe mentioned earlier, we'll give you the chance to talk with Yossi, ask questions, share your congratulations. But until then, the chat can serve as a great place for that. And I loved toggling over to see everyone. Okay, so this is the moment that I'm going to tell you, if you would like, you can unmute your microphone. And I don't know if you're someone who likes to clap or cheer, or if you have a copy of the book and you want to hold it up. This is the moment to make some noise before we all mute again and go back to that. So if you want to unmute your microphone, as we do.
Yossi! All right.
Congratulations.
So happy for you.
Way to go.
Go.
Awesome.
Amazing. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do right now is to launch a poll to find out about you and what brought you to today's event. There are lots of different reasons why people attend these launch events. Potentially, you're someone who just loves a good party. Or maybe you are a super fan of Yossi, as I am becoming, as I've had the chance to get to know him. Maybe you are here because you want to celebrate Yossi and his work, all the work that led up to the writing of this book, the research, the work with his clients, all of his dedication. Or maybe you are someone who wants to join in supporting the growth of spiritual intelligence in our world. And I think we can all agree that now more than ever, with everything happening around the world, spiritual intelligence is sorely needed. So take a moment to answer that poll. I've noticed that many of you have. If you have any comments about the choices, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. It seems like, Yossi, you don't have very many party animal friends. So let's take a look at these results. It looks like 84% of people are here because they want to celebrate you, Yossi, and your work. 53% of people are ready to join in to support the growth of spiritual intelligence in the world. Several people are wanting to learn more about your new book, and there are a lot of super fans in the house with us today, but not very many party animals.
Well, maybe by the end, our party animal nature will come through.
That is an encouraging thing to remember. So as we get started today, Yossi, we want to have some conversation to give people a glimpse into your book. So why don't we start with this question? What is spiritual intelligence, and why is it so important to our world?
Okay, wow. So let's see, I could talk about this for hours, but you'll keep me honest and concise. So first, we all know, I think, or most of us know, what emotional intelligence is, which is the ability to draw on emotional resources and use emotional information to help regulate ours and other people's emotions. So by analogy, spiritual intelligence is similar. It's the ability to draw on spiritual resources and embody qualities hailed by all the world's spiritual traditions like purpose, compassion, passion, gratitude, joy, integrity, humility, and so on, that have been celebrated regardless of what tradition. And then to do that, recognizing our interconnectedness, that none of us are really separate and we're part of one integral whole, some oneness. So that's the foundation of spiritual intelligence. And I think, as you alluded to, in our world this time, at the macro level, we're facing, devastating, tragic war, both in Israel and Gaza, in the Ukraine and elsewhere. We're dealing with existential crisis for humanity through environmental devastation. So those are at the global level. And if you look at companies and more locally, we're facing more and more pressures, globalization, more innovation. There's pressure on leaders for profitability and productivity, but also equity and inclusion and community pressures and environmental pressures. So we have lots of stakeholders and how to balance marketing and sales and technology and R&D. So I think our leaders are facing ever more complexity. We need holistic solutions that account for our interconnectedness and that we're all in this together. And, we're also facing a loneliness epidemic, as the Surgeon General has said. And so for most people, work is their primary community and environment, and finding more meaning and shared purpose and vision and values is so important for our well-being and our success, both individually and collectively. So I think all of that kind of speaks to the importance of spiritual intelligence and spiritually intelligent leadership that can mobilize that meaning and bring us all together.
I can see a lot of people nodding. I think we all agree with you about the deep need for this. So I know, Yossi, you have a couple of special guests that you want to introduce at this point to share some input. And I think actually, here we go. Would you like to introduce your guest?
Sure. Yeah, there are lots of people that contributed on this journey, and I can't name them all, but there are a few people that could show up today. First and foremost, I want to thank Val, who's Jack of all Vals, or Val of all trades, someone who's really special and dear, that's made this journey so much more enjoyable as one of my main editors. And Val, at age 17, won a writing award and published her own novel. Since then, she's won a number of other writing awards and has a script that's going to get adopted. She's also a stand-up comedian, so I'm not going to put you on the spot to tell us a joke, but it's just been such a delight to work with you and get your help. So yeah, thank you, Val.
Well, that's an accomplishment, editing Yossi.
Yeah, if I can say, that means a lot to me, Yossi. It is hard to edit you. I think your voice is so distinct, and you usually are trying to say so much with only, so many words. I feel like we tried to squish like 6 books into this book. And I'm just happy to have been a sounding board throughout all of it. So thank you very much for saying those kind things and for bringing me on the project at all. This was really lovely. So thank you. And lovely to meet. Look at all your friends. This is so cool. Hi, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Val.
Would it be possible to have Val tell us something about Yossi that we may not know?
Val, yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like Yossi's such an open book. Like, he enjoys reading, meditating, and dancing, according to the end of his bio. I was kind of curious, will we ever see him dancing? Oh, here's one. Yossi, I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes sort of a project at some point. He'd love to write a screenplay, a full screenplay that chronicles, someone's spiritual growth, offering like an allegory for all of us. So keep an eye out for
Wow.
that.
Okay, Val, you're revealing my some of my future secret projects. Yeah, Val has helped me edit such a thing that hopefully someday may turn into a movie, but it relates to spiritual intelligence. So anyway, thanks, Val. Okay. So next is Chini. Actually, Chini is a person who introduced me to Val for this project, and small world. But Chini is a dear friend. Chini was the chairman founder of the second company I was CEO, called Valicert. And for those of you who follow the tech world in Silicon Valley, it's kind of rare to have a technical founder and a CEO have a good relationship. Those relationships don't often go so well. But Chini and I somehow managed to become close friends over now since I think it was 2007. So whatever number of years that is. And Chini now is CEO of his own company called Get Insured, which is provides the platform for most states to offer citizens the ability to select their health insurance under Obamacare. So there are millions of citizens in this country using Chini's company's platform for choosing their medical plan and making it more affordable and accessible and making the best choices for them. And Chini has been a dear friend and a reviewer who provided invaluable feedback and comment through this writing project. So delighted and happy to have you here, Chini.
Thank you, Yossi, and thank you for those kind words. And I should observe that being your friend and having you in my life has been one of my wonderful, wonderful joys and treasure of life. So it's just fantastic. And I am so glad that the world gives us serendipitous joys in being able to connect, totally awesome people like Val and Yossi together. So this is sort of a bit of a double joy for me. Very, very nice to see it. Yossi, I just got my Amazon package yesterday with 12 copies of the book, which I intend to hand out, keep outside my office and hand out to people as they show up. So I'm hopefully doing my part to, further the growth of spiritual intelligence in the world. But thank you. This is such a joy. It warms my heart to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm honored. Do you want to say a few words about what spiritual intelligence means to you and how you're a CEO, you're running a company with, I don't know how many employees now, and significant business. I think it's over $100 million. And so how's that affected you and your leadership? And
so I think there's many things you touch on in the book, Yossi, but I would say, as I was reviewing it, a couple of things spoke really very well to me. I think it's important for all of us to have purpose. Purpose is one of those things that makes the journey of life, I want to use the word maybe sacred or it certainly makes it much less robotic. And I find that every morning I remind myself that all the software and the work we do is, helping millions of people get, sort of healthcare or childcare or that sort of thing. So that's one that I found very, it sort of really spoke to me. The other one that I loved very much is resilience, because if you sort of run a business, it's given that you're going to get stuff coming at you from left field, and just cultivating resilience and cultivating intention and calm and sort of being centered and thinking about how, challenges can renew you and make you stronger as opposed to the opposite. Like, I found that to be very, very, very personally useful. And I sort of even think, I'm continuing to cultivate it. It's the start of a journey. So the book has been just a lovely influence in my life.
Thank you, Chini.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yossi, as we move forward, I would love to be able to share with those who have joined us today a glimpse into why you wrote the book. We all know that you have so many projects, and now we've learned from Val about even more projects. And so why this book and why now?
Okay. So I'd love to see a world where spiritual intelligence is as broadly used and understood as the term emotional intelligence. I mean, a world where more people are interconnected to their unique, authentic essence and their sacred spark of life, where they're in touch with their gifts, with their unique gifts, and they have a sense of purpose, as Jeannie beautifully talked about it, which is the desire to share those gifts. And then as they're connected to their sacred spark of life and authentic sense of self, they're interconnected to everyone around them. So let's actually for a moment, take a moment and see if we are, what it would be like to feel our aliveness in this moment, connect with our breath, feel the rise and fall of your chest. I do this with my clients all the time, so I just thought I'd do it here. So feel your breath, feel the rise and fall of your chest, feel your heartbeat, the pulsation of the blood.
Yossi, I think you got muted as you were saying that. Would you mind repeating that?
Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what that means, but how I got muted. Yeah. So how far did I go? I was just saying I'd love to see a world where people are interconnected and interconnected, starting with connecting with their sacred spark of life and life force. And we can all do that right now by sensing into our breath, the rise and fall of the belly and the chest, the sensations of the breath, and our heartbeat and our pulse as our blood circulates through our veins and arms and hands and legs and feet. And as we feel that interconnection to our life force and the flow of energy up and down our spine and our connection to and rooting in our Mother Earth that's here supporting us all. And from this place, when we're connected to our life force, let's imagine ourselves inspired by and feeling this sense, perhaps more empowerment and more energy. And what would it be like for us to have this connection to our unique, authentic self and the desire to share those gifts with others around us, and where people around us are also feeling this inspiration, feeling inspired to share their unique, authentic gifts? What would that world look like? And just take a moment and sense into that, where you and everyone around you is inspired, connected with your life force, your essence, and sharing your gifts with everyone in the service of life. So for me, there's just more openness and more joy and more love in that world. And also just take a moment and notice what's it like right now to just imagine that world. What's your experience right now? How's your heart feel, your chest, your breathing, your body? Relaxation, more open, more closed, more expanded, more contracted. So I'd love to see a world where all of us walking around the world with this sense of interconnection, inspiration, and interconnectedness. I think that would be a lovely world to walk around. I hope you agree with me and share in wanting to spread this more love and more joy.
That is so powerful. And what occurs to me, Yossi, what I've been loving about the book is all of the exercises. And just like the one that you just walked us through, the book has so many exercises. It's almost like those of us who don't have the pleasure of sitting with you for coaching do have the pleasure of experiencing some of those activities and reflections. So I'm really glad that you wrote the book. And I know you have some special guests that you want to invite at this point.
Yeah, Andy. Oh, so delightful to see you, Andy.
Yeah, see.
Andy is the founder and CEO of a company called Clary, who uses AI to help companies run their revenue operations. And I met Andy, I think probably 4 or 5 years ago. I'm losing touch.
Yep.
It's always such a delight to when we sit together, and I get to receive your sweetness, which you can all see right now, not to put you on the spot. But anyway, when I met Andy at that time, Clary had about 70 employees or so,
Yep.
was running out of cash, and
Yep.
you
Running
know,
out of
was
cash.
in the process of implementing a layoff, unfortunately. And since then, Clary has 1,500 enterprise customers, currently has 700 employees and hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank, and it is the leader in this category, new category that the company pioneered and now leads and dominates for using AI to help companies run their revenue operations more effectively. So happy to have you here. And
Great to be here, Yossi. I'm so excited for you. And we didn't try to coordinate our colors, but man, we're pretty damn close here. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
So
Can I say a few words, Yossi? Can I say?
yeah, that's why you're here. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I thought I'd start off. I was writing some notes and listening to everybody. I was thinking about go back to when you're a kid and think about a moment where you found something on the beach, right? And you're walking along the beach and you found something so great. It's this rock, this stone with all the colors in it, and you took it to your sibling or your parent. You said, "Look at this thing. I found this thing. It is so beautiful." Right? Think about that moment. That's how I feel about you, Yossi. Like, I feel like you're everyone uses, oh, they're a gem, right? But if you find that gem, you're just super special, and I feel like you've changed my life. Not just the work stuff, because as you know, I take all the stuff that I learned from you and I practice it at home as much as I practice it, with my boys. I've got 2 boys, 20 and 21, in college, and I've got a lovely wife of 24 years of marriage, Julie. And I'm always running my little experiments with my family and my work based on all of the principles that are in the book and that you taught me. So thank you. Life changer, gem. What I thought I'd share with the crew here, the Yossi crew, I was thinking about what the work that you've done and continue to do at an exemplar level is it's helping. How do you help me realize my fullest potential so I can help others realize their fullest potential? That's how I feel about the work that is in front of all of us, right? Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we are in our lives, our careers, our age. It's at the end of the day, it's about impacting. And can we extend that concentric circle and impact more people over time? Now, if I think about, okay, what's happened is I've been able to help others realize their fullest potential by you helping me. I think it started with having you helping me see my larger purpose. And just frankly, going into a spiritual realm that is at first uncomfortable. Really kind of novel and just starting to think more about from my heart and thinking about love first. And there's this idea of, the integration of our body and our mind and all this stuff that I thought, frankly, was kind of woo-woo. And I don't know, maybe because I'm in my 50s now, I'm really getting it, and it's starting to gel. But the idea of our body and our mind are one, and then there's there's this other force and that we're all super connected and we all have energy between us, right? That if you can harness that, you can help yourself realize your fullest potential and then help others. So I started thinking about heart first, love first. And by the way, before I met Yossi, I was not nearly as intentional with my life. I was just running mad, trying to make things happen. And you had grounded me, and now I have an affirmation practice. I have a gratitude practice. I have an intention practice in the morning, every morning. Like that did not exist. And as I think about what's that done for me is I've been able to, it's allowed me to optimize how I think. All the principles in the book, when you're able to harness the stuff that you wanted us to harness in that exercise you just did, and be really aware of self and connection and the world and all of that, and at the same time help people problem solve, help facilitate groups, help collaborate, help drive more results. I think there's a huge yield, as you know, if you go back to our time together, where I was like crashing and burning, thinking, okay, is this company even going to survive, to where I am in my career right now? Huge results. If I would say, just in closing, some things that in the book, the one chapter on visioning was like a game changer for me. And the ability to, and I'm, using the word intention, the ability for you to share a vision. Like I'm doing this with my boys. I'm doing this with my wife. I'm 53. Where do we want to be in 10 years? Where do we want to be in 20 years? Let's go inward. Let's close our eyes. Let's think about that. I'm doing that with my teams now. And that's allowing us to be so motivated and get through some of the current hard times that we're getting through. So I feel like that was a huge unlock, just to get super specific. And then finally, I'd say is the ability for me personally to, I call it the do-be ratio. Yossi, you and I talk about this, right? How can I be doing all this stuff with, problem solving and some, as many of you know on this call, like work is fucking hard sometimes and it's just so brutal, but can you also be loving the work when it's so hard, when it's so challenging, and still be present to say, but man, is this great? Is this wonderful? And that's just a little bit. I could go on and on about what has happened in my life and in my career. And I'm just very grateful, Yossi. Love you.
Love you. And it's, yeah, so you're talking about love and, most of us saying what love, work, business. So sounds like you find that there's been a business productivity, impact, effectiveness payoff for all this stuff and leading heart first.
And I just want to close and say this one more comment. It has had a profound effect on my family as well as, if not more, than my work and my career, because I've been applying it and it's gotten huge results.
Awesome. Very delightful. Delighted to hear. So next here we've got Emmett. So happy to see you here, Emmett. So when you and I met, which I think is about 10, 11 years ago, you were the founder and founding CEO of Twitch. At the time, I think, if I'm remembering, Twitch was about 50 to 70 employees, was doing revenues in the single-digit million. And earlier this year, you handed the baton to your successor and you left Twitch. So you're no longer CEO. But when you left Twitch just earlier this year, was a $2 billion business and close to 2,000 employees or so. And what's delightful for me, though, is to watch you take your entrepreneurial, visionary, passionate approach and now become a social entrepreneur, trying to tackle bigger problems in solving housing and homeless issues in San Francisco, solving Bay Area transportation and transit. I mean, it's just so delightful to see you apply your ingenuity and your entrepreneurial spirit and your leadership and willingness to take risk and have a vision to those bigger problems that are so sorely needed to be addressed in our world. So anyway, it's been a delight.
I really enjoyed the whole process. I think when we first started working together, I was a little skeptical actually. I never had a coach before. And we had a actually very different working relationship in the beginning. One of the things I appreciated is I'm very skeptical of woo things. I'm a very head-driven person. And we started out with a lot of tactical discussions about like, what are you role playing? What do I do with this executive? And how do I handle this board meeting? And, you know, what's the strategy for whether we should, think about doing this deal or not. And you kind of worked in over time a little bit more opportunities to look at the heart and the body and like the sort of the why of it. But it wasn't like, it wasn't overwhelming. It was like a little bit of it at a time. And we worked up to it. And I found that, of course, that stuff ends up being much more, the tactical things are of course useful, but the more transformative piece is of course the part where you're working on yourself and you're seeing the bigger picture pieces of it. And I think for me, the most transformative parts actually were learning very much how to get in touch with like, I do have feelings in this situation. I have some pretty strong feelings about the situation. I had this sort of story going in from when I was young that I was not particularly emotional. I had like, I wasn't particularly afraid or angry or excited or whatever. Like, it was sort of a flat experience. And in fact, that was totally untrue. And I think one of the most impactful things about working through it is realizing that in a lot of leadership situations, what I would learn was like, the reason I snapped at those people in that meeting is like, I'm really scared we're going to fuck this up. Or the reason that I, am avoiding this work is I'm really irritated with this person. And every time I think about doing this particular thing, that irritation surfaces and I just flinch away from it. And there's so many other things that are hard to say, but I think the biggest, I don't have time to go over all of them. I think the biggest takeaway I have from the whole process of working with you is that like, there is no separation between growing as a leader of an organization and growing as a person, as a human, and growing as a leader elsewhere in your life. And I think that's like, I came in with this very strong intention to like, I'm going to become a better CEO. I'm going to be better at management, at product strategy, and wound up accidentally like growing as a human, like almost entirely as a side effect, like I feel like I was almost pushing against it, especially in the beginning, that I like, no, I don't want any of this human growth stuff. Can we just like solve the problems? And so I think that's been the most delightful part is it has impacted me also, like, as you're saying before, it's impacted me a lot elsewhere in my life, in my relationships and things, but I actually think it impacts me when I'm by myself too. It turns out that you can't really become a lot better at most of these things, especially in leadership roles, without the sort of the spiritual growth, the personal growth. That's the actual key. So I think that's been the most delightful part for me.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much. I have loved getting this glimpse into the power of your work in the world, Yossi, and I'm sure those who have joined are enjoying that as well. The last question we want to address before inviting some very special people to offer some blessings over the book is we'd love to give those who have joined today a glimpse into what you hope this book will do in the world ultimately. What does success look like for you with spiritually intelligent leadership, Yossi?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, going back to what I said before and why I wrote this book, I mean, I'd love to see 10, 20 years from now a world where people are using the term spiritual intelligence just like the term emotional intelligence is used. And it used to be, before emotional intelligence, there was this dichotomy, and someone is emotional and someone is reasonable. And if you did an interview or you were recruiting someone and did a reference call and someone said, oh, so-and-so is emotional, you'd go, oh my God, I'm not sure I want to deal with them. But if they say now they're emotionally intelligent, say, oh, definitely I want. And emotional intelligence is actually very reasonable and very intelligent at multiple levels. I think we have a similar dichotomy in our culture between practical and spiritual. And like, you know, even as you heard Andy here and Emmett, there was like, oh, this is woo-woo at first, etc. So, but now they're saying, oh, it's very practical. It's helpful to the bottom line, the business, my quality of life, my happiness, my fulfillment, and my family, and my relationships, and my business. So spiritual intelligence is practical. I just hope that the world understands that, whether it's through my book or any other book or whatever. So I'd love to see a world where spiritual intelligence is understood for its power and its goodness, and whether people are across the spectrum, from people that are devout atheists to devout practitioners of some part, understand and practice that, so we can all embody and live in love and radiate joy. I'd love to live in such a world where people are embodying, living in love, and radiating joy. I mean, wouldn't you want that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So we're aligned.
Who doesn't want to be a better human, right?
Amen.
All right. So you have some special guests that you want to invite to join now.
Yeah, so next here is Jeff Munnis. Jeff is a dear friend who was a CEO many years ago, but then went through some kind of a spiritual awakening and turned a minister in the United Church of Christ. And Jeff and I became friends through his wife, actually, Stelly, who's celebrating her birthday today. We were in the same PhD program for my psychology degree. But Jeff is also the author of many books, I think probably 10 and counting. And so as we're the birthday of this book, I'd love for you, Jeff, to do a little blessing for the book. And I thought, given spiritual intelligence kind of ecumenical, I've got Jeff here as a minister and in Christianity, and we got Zelig here, who is a rabbi, who's also a dear friend, will come on next. So I thought it'd be good to show that we're all connected, we're all in this together across traditions.
Yeah, thank you, Yossi. And I am glad to be here. And I was thinking back, hearing some of the stories. I think you and I first met in this cafe out near Middlefield Road in Palo Alto, right in the middle of your program at ITP at the time. And we've stayed connected over that whole time. And I've got to meet so many people and develop so many friendships that began with our friendship. And so I appreciate being here. I appreciate you, Yossi. You know I love you, and I know we share so much spiritually. And I believe that we all in this group here and in the world also share that spirituality. So here we go. Let's bless this book. Let's start blessing it with an understanding that it is both spiritual, practical, but it's also divine, that it addresses something inside of us that comes from a source that's greater than all of us. And so we ask that it find its way into the hands of everyone that will use it for growth and for transformation and for a better world. And may it transform us individually and raise the level of consciousness and awareness of us all on our individual journey as well. Help us to find that purpose with each other in all of our relationships, where we're connected to that divine essence, that true inspiration, that interconnectedness that can then lead to that interconnectedness that Yossi speaks about in his book. May it inspire us, but may it also ground us in our spirit. May it ground us in our bodies and in our minds. May it harmonize our effort in the world to bring love, acceptance, purpose, peace to everyone that finds something to use in just a few words or in the whole text. May it help us live with gratitude, thankful for the spiritual providence of what it means to be a human being. And may it inspire us also materially, that is part of the providence that comes to us in this world, where we can be practical but good for each other in every possible way. May it help us in good times and tough times. May it give us hope and inspiration. May we remember the smile that Yossi has on his face today, and may it bring smiles to everyone that learns and gives to each other through spiritual intelligence. May it be so.
Amen. Amen. Brother Jeff, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, okay. So next is Zelig, another dear friend and precious human soul. He started out as an attorney and rose through the legal thing, and then had some kind of a shift and became a rabbi. But with the mission of bringing Judaism back to its roots as earth-based spiritual tradition, and started this movement called Wilderness Torah, but it's actually impacted the Jewish world more broadly with this notion of earth-based Judaism, which is so critical now with the environmental challenges that we're facing. So I've just loved being part of your Wilderness Torah community when I've been able to join some of the festivals. They've been such a delight, and be honored to be included, and so on. So if you can offer your blessing, that would be awesome.
Thank you so much, Yossi, and thank you everyone who's brought such beauty and kindness to the call and to Yossi's life and the launch of this fantastic work. It's really easy to come and offer a blessing, Yossi, because I feel like you're going for the whole thing. You know, you're going for nothing short of wholeness. You're going nothing short of what it means to be complete and there serve from that place. And the Hebrew language offers a basic and very profound understanding that the word shalom, which people mostly understand as peace, but it also means hello and goodbye, is rooted to the same word of shlemut, which means wholeness. And so when we live in peace, when we understand peace, when we embody peace, we become whole. And when we build ourselves and heal ourselves and become whole, we embody peace. And so my blessing for you, Yossi, and my blessing for this book, and my blessing for all those who this book and your work more broadly touches, is that it brings us to shlemut, it brings us to that wholeness that you deeply understand and that you are inviting us into. And from that place, may it bring peace. May it bring peace in the hearts of all who need it. And may it bring peace to their families, their communities. And by the grace of the one which is so mysterious in the world, may it bring peace to the world. Because I know, Yossi, that your ultimate goal is peace in the world. And so I bless the work of your hands and the work of your heart for peace in the world.
Thank you. May it be so. May it be so. And thanks for highlighting the inner wholeness and the peace that it brings inwardly and outwardly. Yeah.
These moments with authors to celebrate the launches of their books are always so powerful, and it's an honor to be with you today, Yossi, and thank you to those who brought those powerful blessings. We want to spend just a moment now to let those of you who are really interested in joining with Yossi and spreading the idea of spiritually intelligent leadership in the world, some ways you can help. And, after these powerful blessings, it feels a little bit off, but I do want to really underscore the importance that Yossi needs a community to help spread this message. And quite often when a book goes out into the world, it goes out in a more powerful way because others come alongside the author to help. So Yossi has a network, and his network has a network. And as we each speak about these ideas, the ideas will spread. So the most practical way that you can help Yossi today is to buy copies of the book for yourself, for your friends, your loved ones, your colleagues. And if you choose to buy the book on Amazon, the Kindle is now available as well. You may have pre-ordered a print copy. If you already have a copy in your hand, we want to ask you to order the book again now as well, because what happens is when we can concentrate a bunch of sales in this hour, it will teach Amazon's algorithms that this is a worthy book. And what we want to be able to do is get this bestseller banner, which is just a signal, but gives us a chance to talk even more about the power of this message. For those of you who might choose to order the book in bulk for your organization, Porchlight Books has discounted pricing available, and we are putting some links in the chat for you on all of those. For those who may have already read the book, your honest review on Amazon and Goodreads can help others who need this message discover it as well. And so if you've already read the book and can leave a review this week, that would be amazing. If you haven't yet read the book, as soon as you have the opportunity to do so, we would be so deeply grateful for your choice to leave a review on Amazon. Finally, there are other ways to help spread this message. If you have a social platform, if you use LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Threads is my new favorite. If you're still using X or Facebook, we would love to have you share a heartfelt message about your love for this book with your networks. Or if you have a newsletter, a blog, a podcast that you can invite Yossi onto, an event that you would like to host so that he can share his passion for this work. Any platform that you might have to help spread this message, we would be deeply grateful for your choice to share about the book on those networks. And if you choose to buy the book during this hour, Yossi has created a special gift for you. And we're going to put in the chat, I think, this chance that you can win a beautiful gift box. And earlier I meant to grab the mug. Yossi has these cool mugs that have the book logo on them. We're going to put some Starbucks gift cards in those boxes. We're going to get you an additional hardcover of the book to give away. So if you could choose to help in one or more ways and share that info with us in the chat, then we'll be sharing a special gift box that will help you remember this special day. So now what we want to do is give folks the chance to share additional thoughts with Yossi. And I believe Jackie is the first one who's on deck as a chance to talk with Yossi. For those of you who might also want to share and you haven't had a chance yet, we would ask that you keep your comments brief so we can call on more people. And when you're ready to speak, if you can use the hand raise function, which is in the bottom of your Zoom panel, that will signal to me that you would like to speak, and then we'll have a chance to call on you. So first, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, Jackie, we have.
We may have missed her.
No, I saw her a minute ago.
We are looking for her, Yossi, and not seeing her. So if we see her again, we will.
Okay, well, let's.
So if there are others of you who would like to share, and while we wait to see a hand raise, you can also let us know in the chat as well. I want to share my favorite quote from the book so far. I have not finished it. I'm working through it slowly, savoring every word. And here's a quote that stood out to me so much. Bringing your authentic presence to life is itself its own gift. And I had to share that one out on Threads because that's my new favorite social channel.
Okay, yeah, we're all present here, so that's our gift to ourselves. And
yes, it looks like Lisa would like to speak.
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Hi, Yossi. It's so great to be here and celebrate your book launch with you. like everyone else has already said, you're such a special figure in my life. When I first started doing my work with you, I needed a lot of help. And now looking back at our captain's log that you had me write every week, there's so much insight that just flies off the page that I didn't fully recognize back then, even though I wrote it. So clearly it was there, but now it just makes so much more sense with time. And the wisdom that you've given me, the tools, I use it all the time, and I appreciate you and love you and support your work. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. That's so sweet. Thank you. Anybody have a question? Or I know I love getting all this positive reinforcement, but I'm also happy to hear any question. And we got Rajiv here.
Hey, Yossi. So for the rest of you, Yossi and I were at ValorCert from 98 through 2002. And it's probably fair to say that I was one of the people that gave him a lot of grief because we butted heads a lot of the time. And, it's been a joy to keep in touch with him. The things that come to mind when I think of Yossi is intellect, ability, courage. And what was surprising as I kept in touch with him over these years is that he's been a seeker. And, it's terrific because this book for me is something that I hope I'll be able to give out to a lot of people, because I know a lot of people in Silicon Valley, particularly as entrepreneurs, run out of control. Whether they run companies as CEOs or they're individual contributors, it doesn't matter. And a large part of my life, and particularly the spiritual traditions that I grew up in, is to somehow maintain that balance and grace in what we do. So thank you for writing the book, and I'll be sure to hand out a few more copies.
Okay, thank you, Rajiv. Thank you. Yeah.
It's so wonderful to hear these comments. And I heard a thought from Yossi that maybe you have a question about the contents in the book. We can take questions now as well, if you want to use the hand raise function, or if you would like to let us know in the chat that you have a question. So Yossi, I have a question.
Please.
I'm curious to hear, of all the topics in the book, I know there's joy and gratitude and all the various qualities that you write about. Which one was your favorite to write?
Well, a lot of qualities were important, but I was deeply immersed in them, practicing them, like gratitude. But I think what really deepened my understanding and embodiment of were the qualities of beauty and joy, and that just kind of reflecting deeply about beauty. And beauty is not something that normally we think about work. It's like, okay, well, I experience beauty when I walk on the beach in the morning and the sun is rising and the colors are changing, etc. Or I look at a piece of art. But, really thinking hard and finding beauty at work, and then working with my clients to help them uncover the beauty in their work was really very gratifying. Like, no, beauty is, and we need beauty so much. I think when we are experiencing beauty, our hearts, naturally open up, and we are, connected and inspired. So, that was a beautiful chapter to write, and it required thinking about it and bringing it and embodying it in my life in a deeper way.
Thank you for sharing that. I think every author has a favorite chapter when they write their book.
Okay, it's good to know.
We do have a few more moments. If there's anyone else who has a question that they'd like to add or a comment that they'd like to make, I want to ask us again one more time, if you're looking at the speaker view, to switch back to the gallery view and see all the beauty of the faces of the people who are here with us. we're so grateful that you've chosen to invest an hour of your day with us celebrating. It looks like Crystal would like to speak. So I will call on you, Crystal.
Hello, haven't met you, haven't worked with you. Thanks through Weaving Influence. I did get a copy of your book, so thank you for writing it. It's really changing. I actually had a question. You know, you want us to meditate, we need to get one with the environment. What if our environment's not that beautiful? I mean, some of us, luckily, I can decorate my office. I got my fun stuff. But some of us can't do that. So how would you meditate? How would you block that out to find the beauty, to find the peace that spiritual intelligence is?
Yeah, that's a good question. And sometimes it's a challenge. And well, what happens right now? You say, I'd love to connect to find and connect with the beauty that's within and around me. Just right now, affirming that. I'm hearing that that's your intention.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm lucky enough I can decorate my office. I can bring my fun stuff, my toys, as I call it, and pictures and my kids. But others aren't able to. So how can I coach them or help them find the beauty, be able to connect and enjoy where they're at?
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And what I was trying to highlight is that the very desire for more beauty arises from a beautiful place. And if you just connect with your wish for more beauty in your life, or even finding the compassion for the fact that beauty is hard to find. And right now I'm having difficulty. The environment's chaotic. I'm really stressed. Oh, let me take a moment of bringing myself some self-compassion, like touching my hand to my heart. And wow, this is chaotic right now. It's really stressful, difficult. I'm here with myself. That moment of compassion is like, oh, here's some beauty. I could offer myself compassion in this difficult environment. So if it's rewiring ourselves to think about where is the opportunity. It could be just the seeking of the beauty is beautiful because it arises out of a place in our heart that's very whole, that is the life force. Life wants beauty. Life wants joy. So even when it's not available, that desire for that. Today I was working with somebody that's actually in the midst of Israel right now in the horror, and they're exhausted and trying to do all the stuff. I won't say too much, but you know, they were finding a hard time to find peace. But okay, I was just like, so you're looking for peace? Yeah. So that's a prayer. I wish for more peace within myself and around me. And when she just connected with that wish, peace arose and she felt her wholeness. So, and then when she traced it to the source of where that desire came from, it was deep within her heart. And all the darkness and all the tightness was replaced with light and warmth and compassion and love. So it was just, there was lack of peace in her life. She wanted peace. She traced that desire. She felt the desire for peace, that prayer for peace, traced it to its source. And then there was this love and compassion and light and peace and beauty.
It clicked. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. John.
Hey, Yossi. So many of you don't know, but Yossi and I worked together way back, very early in his career. And at the time, he was the one-arm push-up champion of Rational Software. And so there's a deeply physical side of Yossi as well. But you know, he had a lot to do with all of the technology that enables AI and all of the good things in the world that come out of that. Maybe the bad things too sometimes, but Yossi has also helped me through some very difficult times. And one thing I just like to thank you for, Yossi, is you may not remember, it may not be part of the book even, but But to the question that was just asked, Yossi taught me to stop and say, how is it right now? Just now, nothing else, not past, not what you're worried about in the future, right now. And what I found was that right now was usually pretty darn good, actually, way better than I expected. And so, so thank you, Yossi. That's gotten me through a lot of tough times. And congratulations on the book. What a great accomplishment.
Thank you, John. I'm so happy to see you here. And yeah, right now we're usually okay. It's just our preoccupation with the past we wish was different, and the future we would like to dream of, all of which are important. But right now I'm okay. It's a great reminder.
So really quickly, as we're coming to the end of the hour together, we are going to formally close in a moment and give Yossi a chance to send us out with a wrap up. But we will leave the line open if you would like the chance to catch up and talk with Yossi more. Just a quick reminder of the ways that you can help Yossi's book and this message of spiritually intelligent leadership reach more people in the world. Buy the book, review the book, invite Yossi to share this message with your community. Share it through your social media. If you need more ideas, we do have a link in the chat where we've created some graphics that you can easily copy and download to share. So Yossi, how about you send us out as we officially wrap up the time, and then we will, as I said, leave the line open for folks who want to continue to connect.
Thank you. I'm just going to switch back to gallery view so I can, and I encourage all of you to switch to gallery view here and just take a look at this collection of human beings, human souls that have a shared intention to cultivate and embody and spread more spiritual intelligence in themselves and in the world. And just notice what that's like to feel this connection to this mandala of human souls that have this shared intention and desire. And sensing into our breath, into our hearts, this connection through the cyberspace, however way we're connected to each other and to our essence, to our presence. So if we could take this sense of interconnection and interconnection among us as we move through our life, I think good things will happen. And if not, ask me for a refund. Okay, thank you.